Hey, what's going on, guys? Double 18 Set Shadow here. So I just came back from the BCS over the weekend. I participated in the standard tournament, unfortunately, and it's not new. I scrubbed out, lost in 3 rounds. I won the first, then lost 2 in a row to the over trigger. But in terms of final results, from what I heard, the winning deck for the Chicago Rosemont Regional was Chronojet Dragon. And the runner-up was MLB. Then we had Willista as third place, and I believe fourth place was another Chronojet. So we did not see Gondiva in the top 4 this time. But ultimately, my experience wasn't too bad. There was also Free Fight, which I'll be talking a little bit about my experience trying the new variant of Eva later on. But before we get into that, well, first off, I'm just glad that they've actually brought Free Fight back into the regionals. They did not have that for the longest time. It was actually a really nice time. So let's go ahead and get into the market watch. We're going to start with the current outlook of Clash of the Heroes, where I want to look at the triple rares and double rares and where their prices are at right now, because this is a little bit concerning, while also a nice opportunity. All the triple rares in this set are pretty cheap. Right now, the most expensive one to pick up is Drag Ritter Latifa, which is over $5, but it has 41 listings. Everything else is $3 or under right now for the triple rares and the double rares. And by the way, the only double rare to go above there are 2 double rares that are above $1 right now. Rarelium and Dindrain. Rarelium is intended to be for Minerva once Clash of the Heroes becomes legal for BCS. I would anticipate this card will probably see some more gains, while Listener to Truth Dindrain is there for Azel. And Azel is pretty popular, although despite that, Vermilion is the one that actually has more value than... Yeah, it just has more value than Azel does right now, which is interesting to see. My favorite, of course, Poison in Paradise Eva, has a market price of 2, and I'll be talking about that a little more later. But the thing I'm concerned about also is that there's just no value in the triple rares and double rares right now in terms of cracking open boxes. The value right now is all in the high rarities, and believe me, there are lots of different high rarities in this pack. Honestly, I think this is a real mesh together in comparison to others, especially because compared to Japan, we were not supposed to get the Bang Dream promos here. We were supposed to get them in set 10, and we didn't. So now they've been meshed in here, along with the secret premiums, which are high rarity reprints of old cards. Then we have the manga ones, which are Silhouette and the Mythic cards. Then you have the secret rares of Azel and Vermilion on top of that. And so there are a lot of different big cards to pick up in this set in terms of the high rarity items. And to be fair, even if you wanted to just go for the Bang Dream triggers, some of those Bang Dream triggers are worth more than any of the triple rares in this set. And I'm not talking the signs, I'm just talking the regular Bang Dream triggers. So it's a little upsetting to see that, but yeah, ultimately, you are at least going to get a Bang Dream trigger in every box. It's just a matter of which one you get, because that really determines how good your value is for each box. Then to talk about the sneak preview exclusive, Mytharch Habitat. So this card did see a massive drop all the way down to $4 at one point, but as soon as that happened, it just got eaten up really, really hard. We're back up to $12 on this card, so... And honestly, I don't see why. This card should eventually go back down in value. I don't know when, but I mean, it is still the inception of this card coming to us, so it'll probably take a little while for it to really settle at a lower price. But if you can sell it for 12, and it has sold for recently, that's good. Now, going into some cards that have been fluctuating a bit, Steam Battler Gungnam is the first one I want to talk about. The SP of this card from set 1 has been bought out. Last listings all sold for 17 plus, and now we are at $50 for the base listing. So we definitely need to see some more cheaper copies of this SP on the market, especially given that it was a buyout from the $17 mark. I can't understand why it suddenly just jumped to 50. Even if you look back at the history, $18 is the max that I've seen, and that was last month. So I don't know how we had such a huge gap between what was bought and what is available now. Another one which I never really talked about was Spurring Maiden Elena. Now, not too many players even consider this, and I've never really seen this in a standard deck. Maybe Premium has some playability, but this card is an $8 SP. It is from set 1, and its art is pretty gorgeous, so those could be contributing to it. I honestly would not mind buying this for 8, but yeah, in terms of playability, I don't really see much value in playing this, especially because its effect only works if you play it from hand. If you try to call it from the drop, which is what most Stoichia decks do, even if you try to call it from deck, it won't work. So it is limited in its utility. Oh no, okay. So, Fountain of Knowledge Eva, I did have this put up a little earlier, and there was a listing available underneath $200 earlier. It disappeared. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like it was bought because I don't see it in the history. But right now, the SP of Fountain of Knowledge is $250 base. Oh, I see. The price increased. The one who was actually selling it for $195 increased his price. So it's now a $250 card base again. I was about to say, if you wanted to pick it up for under $200, you had a chance, but now that's gone. But going on to Poison in Paradise Eva, with my limited testing that I did during Free Fight yesterday, what did I play against? I played against Wallista, I played against Youthberg, I played against a number of other builds, and ultimately, I don't think you need to play this that much. It's not that great in the late game, especially if you run out of research orders, which I did at one point. And so there is one listing under $2. After that, it becomes a $3 card. We have a few more listings at just under $2 basically. But when it comes to the new updates that are in Eva's deck, it's mostly just this Poison in Paradise as well as the new Assembler, which, I mean, it really is pick your poison in terms of what you want to play in Eva, because the deck is versatile enough with all of these different techs that you can try a bunch of different variants and the deck still plays pretty efficiently. It's all about resource management, as I said in my deck profile, so you just have to be able to handle that. But the nice advantage of Poison in Paradise is you don't need resources. There's no Counterblast or Soul Blast for this card. Now, talking about the last episode of Vanguard, Leonorn is getting some attention now that its Unison dress has proven to be quite a force. I mean, it's a 7-attack deck when you consider the next card that I'm going to be covering, but before I do, just to go over what we got, Leonorn's base is $6 right now for the triple rare, FFR is still in the 30s base, and the DSR is still 175 base right now. But the card I really want to go over is Resonance Dragon. Now, this card got bought out on the news of the anime, and it's only got 2 listings available at 25 plus, and has been bought out as high as 16 to 18, basically. I forgot I even had these up on TCG Player, and they got bought. It's a miss for me, but I mean, it's not like it spiked hard, but it probably will, given that this card is a set 7 card, which means it'll already be hard enough to pick up as it is. Inlet Pulse Dragon is something else you're going to have to keep your eye on. There's only one listing on the SP at 120. Earlier it was sold out when I was looking at it. And only one listing on the reprint, $34. 3 listings available on the original, but they're starting at $60. So Inlet Pulse is doing another thing as it did back when it was top tier with Magnolia. Then you've got Performing Petal Diantha, which is still over a $25 card for its base with 3 listings available, and the FFR is just above 30, or sorry, just above 50. And I mean, the FFR might end up with this problem of being the mid rarity now because Love Song Flower Maiden Lilia Leah is now available. This is the top rarity, which effectively serves as Diantha. This one is in set 11 and now has a $315 base listing. It sold for $300 already, but I would see this going down. I don't think it can hold this high, but we'll see what happens. Something I want to just float as an idea now that we've seen Leonorn's unison dress. But what if we had this? For Trickstar and then Nirvana, between the original Nirvana Jiva and maybe even Mahir Nirvana, I'm thinking of the possibility that the new Virina that we're going to be getting may actually be an overdress with the Vanguard. Just an idea. I mean, with the new unison dress that we just saw, and the fact that Nirvana already applies the overdress concept with Trickstar, it would be, I mean, it is technically unique because it hasn't happened, but we haven't seen an overdress with the Vanguard yet. So now that we have unison dress with the Vanguard, Revel dress also happens with the Vanguard. So it would be interesting to see an overdress happen with Trickstar with the Vanguard. So I'm just floating that as an idea and just kind of presenting the cards, but just keep that in mind as a possibility that might happen. And the last card I want to go over is for next week's episode, which is Skyfall Arms, Youthberg. Well, not just Skyfall Arms, really. I just want to take a look at all the different Youthbergs that are available right now. The DSR for Skyfall is currently 276. You have Tempest's FFR, which is 195 right now. I mean, this card is still expensive as it is. Other stuff, you've got the full art Skyfalls, which are in the 70s to 80s. The regular Tempest is 55 right now. You've got the FFR of Gust at 55. The regular Skyfall Arms is 17 base right now. And then everything else is much cheaper. Base form of Gust is 450, and then there's Zest. I don't want to rule out Zest, given that from what I remember on the image of the new Youthberg, I think it had all 3 colors. Red, blue, and green. So I don't want to rule out Zest possibly having some influence on that. So just keep that in mind when you make your decisions on what you want to pick up first. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys later.